Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. If you guys didn't know, I am a professional makeup artist based here in Las Vegas. I'm also the Space & K Apothecary business manager here at Nordstrom's, located inside Fashion Show Mall on the Strip. So, today's look. Well, today's not really about a look. Today's more about a product and how to use a product, or this specific product. So I feel like a lot of people, specifically people with dry skin, don't like to use powders. So I really wanted to make a video that showed people with dry skin like myself. I have very dry skin since living here in Las Vegas. I could literally use Vaseline as my moisturizer and it would work. I have a technique that I think you may or may not know how to utilize a powder foundation when you have dry skin. If you're interested in learning how to do this specific technique, keep on watching. Okay, so let's get started. So I feel like this part is probably the most important part when dealing with a powder foundation and you have drier skin like myself. Like I said, I love powder foundation because it's fast, it's easy, and it's very even too. So I really like that for that purpose. So the very first part of your regimen when working with a powder foundation is you really have to do your skincare. So I already did that. I put on my serum, my moisturizer, my eye cream, all that stuff, because you really want the skin to be as supple as possible when you're dealing with any kind of powder products. It also helps the powder to stick onto the skin. If you try to put a powder foundation directly onto like dry skin with nothing on it, it's just gonna roll off. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do wrong, is that they try to use a powder foundation just like right on top of their skin without prepping it first. I mean, first of all, you should be prepping your skin anyway, regardless of the foundation that you're doing. But this really does make a difference when dealing with a powder foundation. So I've already done my skincare. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to use a primer. This primer in particular is really nice because it has hyaluronic acid in it. So it's going to continue to hydrate the skin and really allow the powder to adhere to your skin instead of rolling off. So the primer that I'm using is by By Terry. So this is the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Primer. And I really like this because it keeps the hydration to the skin, but it also leaves your skin feeling super smooth. It also helps fill in pores, find lines, and creates a really smooth surface for the powder foundation to sit on. So now that I have the primer on, I like to use any and all kind of like liquidy or creamy products first before we use the powder. So usually my next step is going to be the concealer. So the concealer I'm using is a concealer by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is their Magic Touch concealer, and I'm using, I'm not sure because I just kind of grabbed these colors, but I have the 5 and the 6. What I really like about this concealer is that it's a very full coverage, and I picked a shade a little lighter for my skin tone because it's going to really help brighten. And you want something a touch lighter so that it kind of shines through the powder foundation and provides you with a lot of brightening under the eye. So that's what I like to use. So I'm just going to use this NARS brush. Yeah, that's a good color. And you know, you could really kind of go heavy. So if you want a lot of coverage under the eyes, feel free to go a little bit heavier under the eye so that it really comes through that powder foundation. So I do that, and then I take a beauty blender and I just buff that and blend that out. You could also use your finger, and I kind of bring it up onto my eyelid too to even out the skin tone on my eyelid. So right now it looks really light, which is fine because once you put the powder on top, it's all gonna blend out. So when you're in a rush, you can really just use the applicator that the concealer comes with and then just use your fingers. And that's what I like about powder foundations, is because you can kind of throw everything on and your powder foundation kind of blends everything out for you. So I know it looks crazy. I look like it's way too light, but once I put the powder foundation, I promise it's gonna all come together. So we're going right into the powder foundation. My favorite powder foundation of all time has to be the MAC Studio Fix powder. I know some of you out there are like, oh no, it doesn't work for me, it breaks me out, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, it works if you use it correctly, especially for you dry skin people out there. So let me show you, I've been wearing this product for more than 20 years, and I have tried every single powder foundation out there, and nothing gives me the coverage like Studio Fix powder. It is just a classic for me. I cannot go outside of Studio Fix powder because I've tried them all. But my alternative, my luxury alternative to the Studio Fix powder is the La Mer powder. So I really love this powder because it is just beautiful on the skin. It just goes on so smooth, so creamy almost, even though it's a powder, and it's so refined and soft, but it does give you a beautiful coverage. It's not as potent as the Studio Fix powder, but it definitely is a great alternative if you feel like you've really tried the MAC Studio Fix or you just want to go luxury. So my first thing that I do, I'm using the color N5. What I do is I take the sponge that comes with it. Let's see, do I have a sponge here? No, I don't have a sponge, but I will use my beauty blender. So I take the sponge from the compact, I set the concealer that I just put on. So I just go ahead and set all of that first, just like that. And then I take a buffing brush. So I'm going to use the By Terry. This is a retractable buffing brush. It's great for travel. And you want something short and dense. This is really going to give you the coverage that you want, especially for this look that I'm doing today. And that's another reason why I like powder foundations, is that you can really adjust the amount of coverage. You don't have to go full coverage like I'm going to be doing today. So if you want, you can just change your brush and literally it changes the coverage. So if you use like a big brush like this from By Terry as well, this is my favorite powder brush. This is because it's a bigger, fluffier brush. You're going to have a sheer, lightweight coverage. If you're going to use a brush that's smaller and denser and thicker, it's going to grab more product, and that product is going to give you that coverage that you're looking for. So what I do is I really load up the brush with the product, tap off any extra, and then I just go in and I buff it into my face. And what I love about powder foundation too is that it just really diffuses everything so quickly. It's just fast. And look, I'm like already super flawless without having to try too hard. But I know some of you are probably like, why did you set around my eyes first? I wanted to set first with the sponge so I can set down the concealer first, because if I buffed it in right away, it would move the concealer and I don't want that. Also, I feel like the sponge is going to get closer to like those fine lines around the eyes, around the mouth, around the nose, that the brush won't be able to give. So because I wanted full coverage, I'm just going to layer this product. And that's what I love about Studio Fix from MAC, is that it's like a great layering powder. It layers beautifully without it looking ultra cakey. So the trick with this foundation powder is you don't want to touch up throughout the day with this powder. Like if you get oily throughout the day, you don't want to take out this compact and keep touching up, because that powder is designed to build on itself and provide coverage. You're just adding more foundations, like touching up with your foundation. So you want to make sure that you get like either translucent powder or a sheer powder, pretty much any kind of sheer powder with like little to no pigment in it. Look how fast that was. It was like so quick, and that's what I love about this powder, is because it gives you great coverage super quickly, and then it gives you like a flawless, super flawless finish. So I know some of you with dry skin out there are thinking, oh yeah, but powder makes my skin look dry and brings out all the wrinkles and all that good stuff. So we will get to that part. So when I use powder foundations, I also like to use a finishing powder so it doesn't give you that super duper matte finish that a lot of people with dry skin are scared of. So what I do, I love this product by Hourglass. It's the Ambient Lighting Powder, and today I'm using Radiant Light. And what I love about these powders is that they continue to diffuse the texture of the skin. They give the skin like a very like soft, subtle sheen to the face, not a glow like a highlighter, but like a soft candlelit shine, or like shine's too strong of a word. It's like a sheen, and I really love it for that purpose. So if with this you want to take a bigger brush, I'm going to take this NARS brush, I believe it's the 13 brush, and I'm just going to use this, and then I'm going to start on the high points of the face and then kind of diffuse it throughout. So I kind of just go, and you can't even see it really, especially in this lighting. But if I were to go under the sunlight, you'll see that ever so light, like soft, iridescent glow to the face. Are you able to pick it up and see? But it gives the skin like this beautiful finish. Perfect. Easy enough. The only thing with powder foundation is powder gets everywhere, but that's all right. So you could just brush it off. All right, so next step, I'm just going to do the bronzer. I'm going to use 2 bronzers because I want to have like a really glowy, radiant finish. So I love the smell of Chanel product. It's the one line, like luxury line, that I actually enjoy the smell of their products. So I'm using their new bronzer in Le Beige called the Oversize Healthy Glow Sun-Kissed Powder in Medium, Sun-Kissed Medium. So this is just a sample of it, but it comes in a giant compact. But I'm gonna go back into that same brush from NARS, and I'm just gonna start the bronzing process. And I kind of like to stick with powders when I'm using a powder foundation for obvious reasons. I wouldn't put a liquid bronzer or a liquid highlighter on top of a powder foundation. So this bronzer isn't that strong, so I'm just going to use it just to kind of lightly bronze my entire face. And then I'm going to go into the Hourglass Trio Ambient Lighting Palette Volume 3, and I love this guy because it gives you all these colors, and I literally pick all of them up. Just like that, I literally just grab all of them, shake off the excess, and then I'm just gonna put it right on top. I wish you can see it. I hope this camera is giving my skin justice, but as you can see, it's already not looking like ultra matte, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are scared of when they think of a powder foundation. It's like they think, oh my gosh, like it's gonna like bring out all the texture in my skin, but for me, I feel like it really diffuses everything. I'm gonna use this brush from NARS, the 48 brush. I'm gonna go back into this bronzer from Chanel, and I like to use like a matte bronzer or contour powder for the nose. I don't like to use a shiny color, so I'm just gonna do a quick contour on the nose. And ideally, I want to mix it with the Kevyn Aucoin medium powder to give you more of a shadow finish, but I forgot it downstairs, so we're just gonna have to deal with this bronzer. Okay, so all of my powder products are on. As you can see, it doesn't look dry. I find powder foundations to be so smooth and so easy to apply for like a super beginner that isn't into makeup, but you really have to follow that process. So use your liquid products first, and then set those areas so they don't move when you're putting on the powder foundation with a bigger brush. So do your bronzer, your contour, all of your facial like powder products. And then the #1 thing to do when using a powder foundation, when you have dry skin especially, you oily girls don't need to do this. You guys will probably melt through this foundation in a couple hours. So by doing this, it really helps melt everything together. So that step is by setting your powder foundation. So the one powder foundation that I love to use is this Eve Lom Radiance Face Mist. If there's anything that you need, it's this product because it has essential like oils in it. And what it's gonna do, it's really gonna like penetrate through the powder. it's going to help the powder adhere tighter to the skin and give you a more luminous glow. So it's going to mix into that powder and just give you a very skin-like finish. You really want to look for a setting spray that hydrates. You don't want a mattifying setting spray. Even a long wear setting spray, you want to stay away from things with too much alcohol in them. I like the Radiance Vitamin C Fix Plus from MAC as well. If you're feeling bougie, they have this one from Chanel, and this one is the, it's called the Sublimage La Brume, and it's just a little, how does this work? Girl, oh, there girl, I didn't even know how to open. It's so bougie. So you twist it like this, and then it's like a little spray. Ooh, I cannot waste that. So this, it's more than just a setting spray. It's actual skincare from their higher Sublimage line. It's not this small. I mean, it is, but you get 3 refills. I mean, for $250, it better come with 10 refills, but for those of you bougie girls out there, this works amazing. It's not just, you know, water or anything. It actually is skincare that's going to help like anti-aging, and it also is going to do the same thing as my Eve Lom Radiance Face Mist. So I like this one. This one's a little bit more affordable. This one I believe is $46, and then the MAC one obviously I think is $30 or $32. So I personally like this one because it really melts the makeup into the face. So we're just going to spray a little bit of this on. Whew. So I know that seemed like a lot, but that's what you want. You want it to be enough for it to get through that powder. So I'm going to bust on my fan. Woo, girl, I have my fan here. And I literally have a fan on my vanity at home, and this is what I do when I set my makeup. Or I use my blow dryer. The blow dryer works as well. That's probably the fastest, most practical thing. But you can already see what it's doing to my skin. It's just making it look like skin. It doesn't look powdery. But just let it dry. And then from here, you can go ahead and add everything else, like your eyeshadow, your blush, your highlighter, and even highlighters work better when you set your powder foundation like this too, because it changes the texture from a powder to, I don't want to say cream, but it gives your skin a little bit more grip. So when you go ahead and put like a powder highlighter, it really adheres to the skin and gives you a really radiant highlight. But I feel like for today, that Hourglass bronzer and the Hourglass Radiant Light powder is enough highlighter for me. So I'm not going to add an additional powder highlighter, but if you want that super radiant, strong, like beaming highlight, set your makeup, and then when it's like 95% dry, go ahead and put that powder highlighter on, and it will be like super beaming. So with that said, I'm just gonna put the rest of my makeup on, and I'll be right back. So guys, this is the look. I just threw on whatever I could find downstairs. I wanted to, you know, really focus on the skin with this particular look. So I just have a very neutral eye from a palette from Charlotte Tilbury, and I threw on a bold lip from NARS. I believe this color is called Grace, if I'm not mistaken. Everything that I've used on my face is going to be listed down below in the description box. But anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a few things. Please don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like this video so I can do more videos for you guys. I hope you like this look, and let me know if you have any questions down below. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!